Jay here from Flipping Cars for Fun, and on this episode we have a cheap 2007 Jeep Compass. I'm going to show you how we made over $2,000 in profit on this one easy flip. I'm going to take you guys through all of the steps that it took to get this cheap car road ready and for sale. Let's get into it.
So I won this car at one of my favorite wholesale auction websites, OpenLane, guys. I like OpenLane because you can buy the cars now. You don't have to go through the whole auction process. I like to do my numbers before buying the car. You can see I won this car at $600, guys. There was only one other person who bid on it, and I purchased the car for $600, guys. Now this is a 2007 Jeep Compass with only 156,000 miles. You can also see that there's only 2 owners and 0 accidents.
So I just received this 2007 Jeep Compass, looking good. Let's get in here and give her her first start. Not a bad car, pretty clean. Does need a little bit of paint work. We do have a check engine light that we're gonna address. Let's take this thing for a spin, see how she feels, see if we have any suspension problems, brakes. Let's go. She rides good, the suspension feels clean. Bumps, brakes, everything. Okay guys, so we got our 2007 Jeep Compass home. As you guys saw, we got such a good price for this Jeep, unbelievable. Let me show you a couple of things that are wrong with it. Now the first thing I saw online was that the whole hood is peeling. And also we have this nice scratch on the bumper, as you can see, possibly scuffed or scratched by another car. I'd say a little bit of Bondo and some paint, and this thing should look brand new. I mean, the rest of the body looks really, really good. But other than that, this car is in pretty good shape for the price that I got it for. Now we did have a code on this car, only one supposedly. Our brakes look good, clean. Our tires look pretty good all around. They all look like this. These rear brakes look new. You can tell by the disc. So the interior itself looks really good. It's tan, but they look really clean. The seats look good. Bit of staining over here and on the top of the roof. The back seat looks good as well. No front floor mats, but just needs to be vacuumed. So let's go ahead and scan the car. We did have a code on the car that the auction told me about. So let's see what we got. Now there was supposed to only be one code, which was the cylinder 3 misfire. I don't know what it is with the cylinder 3 misfires, guys. So it looks like we have 2 codes. We have a cylinder 1 misfire and a cylinder 4 misfire. On the auction website, I thought it was a cylinder 3. It was a cylinder 4, I guess. So we have 2 cylinder misfires and all of our monitors are cleared. So that means that's the only codes that we have. Now that's not bad. That means that we're probably gonna have to change the spark plugs and coil packs on this car. Let's take a look under the hood. Under the hood looks good. Just a little bit of dirt, nothing crazy. But one of the cool things about this car is it had 2 owners and 0 accidents, is what I like. Most of the time you're gonna find cars this age with an accident or 2, but having no accident is better. Other than that, under the car looks really clean, no rust or anything like that. Now we do need an oil change. I can see that there's a slight leak right here from the oil plug. That just means that the seal on the oil plug is no good. So we'll have to change that screw when we do our oil change. Okay, so we're gonna start sanding this hood down and get it ready for paint. Now what we're gonna use is our orbital sander, and we're gonna use a 400 grit because we just wanna remove the clear. Now you can see that the clear coat is just peeling off of this thing. It's basically sun faded, which would be a turn off, so we're gonna get it painted. Now I'm not gonna remove the logo. I don't wanna get too detailed with this car. I just wanna give it some fresh paint so we can make that sale. Now as for the bumper on this side, we're gonna apply a very, very light coat of Bondo, sand that down, and we're just gonna paint this area. Even though the rest of the bumper might need to be painted, I'm just gonna patch up this area because it's a cheap car. We're gonna do that here, and we're gonna do that here.
When sanding down the hood or whatever panel that you're sanding down, be sure to let the machine do the work for you. Don't apply too much pressure because you will burn through that clear coat into the actual base coat. And you don't want to do that. We don't want to burn too far to the metal, so we're pretty much just taking our time.
What I'm gonna do now is get the edges of the hood around the lights over here on the front of the hood, in the corners too, because you don't want to put the machine on there because you'll end up scraping this part of the car and you'll end up scraping the fender as well. So you don't want to put the machine on this side, so you got to do that part by hand. Now another trick to get the edges is you want to pick the hood up and you can get the edges from the sides, the top, around the hood. You need to get this area right here so when you spray the paint, it sticks. Let's wash it off and see what we got. Now you can see that the red is still visible, which is a good thing. That's what we wanted to do. We're gonna add red to it, obviously, just to patch up anything that, you know, to give it a fresh look. And we're also gonna add a clear coat. But when you wipe it down, you can see this is how it's gonna look. You can see that it's faded over here, faded. This is where all the clear coat was chipping. Now when you're wiping it down, you wanna feel for any imperfections, any of the clear coat that's left, and it feels pretty smooth, especially the areas where the clear coat was chipping. You wanna make sure that that's nice and flat, because if we apply our paint and that clear coat is not flat, then you're gonna see it through the paint basically. But it feels pretty smooth and seems to be ready to go. Now as for our bumper here, it's not gonna be perfect. Again, I'm just sanding it down, applying a little bit of Bondo, and I'm painting over it. It's not gonna be flawless. The whole car itself is probably not gonna be flawless, but we're gonna do a very good job and it's gonna be worthy for a new customer.
So when applying the Bondo, you want to make sure that you put a very light coat. You don't want to clunk this stuff up because it's going to be really hard to take down. As you can see, I'm applying a thin layer, guys. And then after that thing dries up, give it a couple hours. Don't try to sand it before it dries up. And after it dries up really good and it's very hard, you can sand it down with a 320 grit just to flatten it out. And then we have to basically prime over it before we put the paint.
The car is fully prepped, a little bit janky with the blanket and everything, but I love to use a blanket. It helps me out with any paint getting under the hood. And we're gonna use a base coat, the color match for this car. We're gonna be using the paint gun. So let's set this thing up and get the spraying. So here's how we're gonna mix this paint for our paint gun. The paint that we're using is a 2 to 1. So we have a 2 right here on the cup and a 1. So let's say we're going to number 4 on the cup. We're gonna go 4 and then we're gonna go right on the other side and get it up to the 4. So that's 2 parts and 1 part. There's our paint. It looks about the same. So we're gonna pour all of it in there because we need the whole thing. Now you can see on the 2 to 1, it went up all the way to the 4. We're gonna grab our reducer and we're gonna bring it up to that number 5 line.
So our first coat of paint is going to be a tack coat, guys. Don't lay this down too thick because you'll mess up the paint job. You just want a light coat and you want to let it dry for about 15 minutes and then you're going to apply your second coat. So right after I finished that paint job, I got a call for the BMW. I finally sold that BMW. That thing was sitting for about 3 weeks, guys.
I'll let you know about if I get anything else. Yeah. Honda Acura? Okay. So if you guys don't know by now, we're giving away a free Honda Civic Coupe. So we're giving away this crashed Honda Civic. Of course, it's not gonna be crashed anymore. We're hooking it up. We're putting all the best parts on it, and we're giving it away to one lucky subscriber once we hit 20K subs. Once we hit 20K subs, once you sign up, we're gonna auction off a name of a subscriber, and they're gonna get this car for free, personally delivered by me. It's free, guys. Go ahead, sign up, share the video with somebody so they can sign up, and hopefully one of you guys win this hooked up 2006 Honda. It doesn't look like anything right now, guys, but through the progress of the videos, you guys are gonna see this thing change. Anyway, let's get back to the video. So this is our last step before we go ahead and clean this thing and sell it. Because we have those 2-cylinder misfires, we're gonna change the spark plugs plus the coil packs. Now I really am hoping that we have some dry spark plugs. I really don't feel like doing another valve covered gasket. It's been a recurring thing on this channel. So let's cross our fingers and hope for the best with these coil packs. Coil pack number 1 is dry. Number 2 is dry. Number 3 is dry. Drum roll, please. Number 4 is dry. And it looks like we have 4 dry spark plugs. This one looked like it had some oil on it in the past, but it's all burnt off. I don't know what happened there, but everything's dry inside, so we don't have to worry about the valve cover gasket. I did check the oil the other day. I want you guys to take a look at that. It's very, very low on oil, but I haven't driven it since I got it here, so I already knew that that was an issue. But you imagine, you have this much oil in there. It's supposed to be at least up to here, guys. At least there. So this thing barely has oil in there. Still feels good, but very dangerous to ride with a car like that. Good car, but the maintenance was not kept up. Let's go ahead and get the oil change, wash this thing, and let's go over the numbers. Okay guys, this was a quick flip right here, so it wasn't that bad at all. Let's go over the numbers for this car. Now we did do our oil change and everything, got the car right. Now I do like messing with these cheap cars sometimes because you'll be surprised. A lot of people don't have money for new cars. So it's always good to have something like this around a lot that you can sell to somebody who doesn't really have any money. And for the price that I got it for, you can't go wrong. Now all in, with shipping, this car came out to $1,040. We bought spark plugs and coil packs, that came out to $58. We got paint, which was $50. Inspection, $50. Oil, $12. Clear coat, $20. Gas, $20. Mats, $17, bringing us to a grand total of $1,267. I plan on selling the car for $3,500, bringing us to a profit of $2,233, guys. Now you can't go wrong with these cheap cars at high profits. Now there is more of a risk when you're messing with cheap cars, but it is what it is, guys. Gotta have these around a lot for the people who don't have money. Now if you guys did not sign up for that free Civic, go ahead, go to the site, sign up. Flipping Cars for Fun. I will talk to you guys soon. Again, Jay here from Flipping Cars for Fun. See you guys next time.